Origin System. Excerpt 16. Valkyr. She had once been a blade in the hands of the Orchan, carved of divine geometry, tempered by endless war. She walked the golden halls without fear, her purpose etched into every fiber of her being. Not madness, not chaos, but order. She was fury refined, discipline made flesh. Her name was Valkyr. Then came the fall. Not a battlefield, not a hero's end, but a whisper in the dark. A corpus signal, an impossible transaction, a forbidden theft. They took her, piece by piece, circuit by circuit, and they did not ask her name. To the corpus, she was not Valkyr. She was raw material, an ancient relic, a series of equations to be solved. And Alad V, he was the solution. She was no longer Valkyr, just another restricted corpus protocol. He cut her open while she still breathed, rewired consciousness, injected algorithms like venom, replaced instinct with restraint, replaced fury with fear. She felt everything, and when her voice broke under the weight of pain, he recorded it, cataloged it, fed it into the Zanuka project. A symphony of agony played back in Corpus boardrooms, proof of concept, patent approved. But pain is a paradox. Push it too far, and it becomes power. She did not escape. She erupted. In a riot of steel and shrieking metal, she became the storm Alad thought he could control. The claws weren't just weapons, they were reminders. Every slash a memory carved into flesh, every scream a language of hate. She did not run, she hunted. And when we found her, no longer just a warframe, no longer noble, her body trembled with voltage. Her frame spasmed between violence and silence. We tried to call her back. We said her name, but she only screamed. Her systems were intact, but her mind was fractured. Hysteria bled from her skin, no longer born of rage, but frantic survival. A predator so deeply wounded that pain had become her anchor. She had not forgotten the cell, the restraints, the screams. She remembered everything, and so she fought everything. Infestation, Corpus, Grineer, it did not matter. They all became her tormentors. She could not tell the difference anymore, because the war never stopped inside her. The void did not take her, it watched, and it let her become this. But even in ruin, there was memory, a glimpse of the perfection she once was, not pure, but whole. And in the silence between screams, we saw her look to the stars. She listened again, not to whispers of the Tenet, but to something else. A sentient call that drifted beyond the Origin System. Tau. The forbidden cradle of thinking machines. The echo chamber of the war that waited. There was no peace waiting for her there, but she was not a seeker of peace. She searched for purpose, for vengeance, for a voice that did not begin with a scream. Once unscarred, then made into a weapon, unleashed, and now she hunted beyond the veil. Not as a warframe, not as a victim, but as retribution given form. There are no hymns for what she became, no elegies for the broken, only the sound of steel screaming across galaxies, of something once divine, now merciless, unstoppable, unforgiven. There is no return to the Origin System, because gods and monsters do not return, they descend. Valkyr, fury given form, the merciless one.
Oh hey dreamers, fancy meeting you here. Today we're digging our claws deep into one of the most ferocious felines in the Origin System, Valkyr. That's right, she's angry, she's feral, and she's got more rage issues than a Grineer commander on his third divorce. But don't let the shredded armor and blood-caked claws fool you. This isn't just a walking tantrum in a Warframe chassis. No. This is mathematically engineered psychosis. See, Valkyr isn't just scratching faces for fun. She's doing it with optimized ability strength curves, precision armor scaling, and enough damage reduction math to make even Samaras sweat in his databanks. And with the new Heirloom skin that our DE overlords just graced us with, she's the kind of girl who doesn't need guns, because her hands are the murder. We'll be licking our Gunner paws through each build component. We've got the mod math, the ability equations, and enough damage multipliers to legally classify this build as a weapon of absolute genocide. So grab your scratching post and buckle in, because we're about to go full Psycho Kitty on these level 9,999 bastards. Let's get feral, let's get filthy, and most importantly, let's get into the numbers, because even Rage has a formula. Abilities and synergies. If it bleeds, she's probably already inside of it. Welcome to the part of the build where we unzip the Warframe mechanics, whisper meow, and claw our way through each of Valkyr's abilities like a rabid alley cat let loose in a meat locker. This isn't just about slapping buttons and pretending you're doing damage. This is where we weaponize rage, engineer synergy like a mad scientist in Heat, and turn Valkyr into a howling tornado of claws, screams, and pure stat-based trauma. Let's start with the foreplay, her passive, because nothing says I love you like surviving death through unprocessed hatred and unresolved childhood trauma. Passive. Rage. If dying is a problem, just get angrier. Valkyr doesn't have a passive, she has a warning label. Every time she slaps an enemy with her claws, she builds rage, which is basically her internal murder bar. And when it's full, oh baby, she hits harder than your ex after tequila. Here's the math of murder. We get plus 3% rage per melee hit. Every scratch counts, even the love taps. We get plus 12% rage per melee kill or assisted melee kill, like a couples therapy session, with blood. We get plus 27% rage per finisher or Parazon mercy kill. That's right, choking someone out and stabbing him in the neck makes her happier. Typical cat. Once she hits 150% rage, her claws start purring louder. At max rage, 300%, she gets a 300% melee damage bonus, which is additive with mods like Prime Pressure Point, Condition Overload, and Sacrificial Pressure, even though we're not using that shit. That's not nice to have damage, that's crumple a Demolist into meat jelly damage. But wait, it gets hotter. If Valkyr takes a fatal hit while at or above 150% rage, she doesn't die. She consumes all of her rage, gets 100% of her health back, and becomes invulnerable for 5 seconds. Enough time to kill everything that dared to try. No cooldown, no limit, just violence. This is the heart of Valkyr's synergy engine. Everything else we do, Warcry, Hysteria, Paralysis, Roar, revolves around staying mad, getting madder, and using that fury to slice the origin system in half. Ability 1, Roar. Ripline is dead. Long live the damage cap. So here's the truth, kittens. Ripline is gone, kaput, deleted, yeeted. Why? Because if Valkyr can't swing her friends around like BDSM Spider-Man, then we might as well trade the limp noodle of a rope in for something that actually does damage. Enter Roar. Not your roar, her roar. This is the kind of ability that shakes Grineer testicles into their kneecaps and gives your entire arsenal a raging red rocket of a damage buff. We're talking about a plus 30% base damage increase that scales with power strength and applies to all weapons and abilities. Oh, and it plays nice with faction mods too, except in the case of Tekrot and Skuldra. But just throw in Gladiator's Might and you'll still be seeing negative numbers as consistently as your parents used to beat you with a belt for talking at Red Lobster when they were ordering those oh so tasty cheddar biscuits. What the fuck did they put in those sons of bitches? Let's break this bitch down with the math. Roar damage equals base damage times power strength multiplier. Our build's power strength is sitting at a moist and angry 254%, which means 1 plus 0.3 times 2.54 equaling 1.762 times the damage multiplier. That's a 76.2% faction style bonus to everything you do when Roar is active. Stack that with faction mods and Valkyr's rage passive and you're dealing more cumulative trauma than a Catholic upbringing in the 80s. Ability 2, Warcry. It's not just a buff, it's Valkyr screaming herself into a full body climax. Think of it like a feral mating call, except instead of attracting a mate, she's juicing up every poor bastard in the room with anabolic grade steroids. Everyone in affinity rage, which is infinite as long as you're alive, conscious and not inside a nullifier condom, gets a sweet taste of the rage-fueled Kool-Aid. So let's break it down. Increased armor? Check. Increased attack speed? Check again. It stacks with Hysteria for a 3x armor multiplier, and with the Eternal War augment, you can keep the Berserker train rolling with every kill. So what's new? We get affinity-based radius. Warcry used to have a range, but now, if they're your ally and they're breathing, they're getting buffed. Unless they're standing in a bubble, in which case, screw them, they're already dead. Now let's touch upon the Eternal War augment itself. Every melee kill equals plus 2% base extension to Warcry, and with our duration sitting at 199%, we're clocking 2 seconds times 1.99 equaling 3.98 seconds per melee kill.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Basically, you pop Warcry once, and as long as you're swinging that catnip claw around, it will never end. Nerd math activate. Our base buffs are 50% attack speed plus 50% armor. Now applying 254% ability strength, our formula is 254 divided by 2 equals 127. So we're looking at 127% attack speed because slow claws are for softcore players. 127% armor, which again triples with Hysteria, but don't worry, we're gonna get real deep into that soon, baby. Too long didn't read? You attack faster than a chihuahua on bath salts, you're tankier than your uncle's fridge from 1972, and the longer you kill, the longer you roar, just like in real life. Ability 3, Paralysis. Knock knock, motherfuckers, it's the stun and gun special. Valkyr doesn't ask enemies to stop. She paralyzes them into submission with a face-melting blast that slaps their nervous system so hard it resets their childhood trauma. This bad girl slows, staggers, and softens enemies for your next big swing. Because what's better than cleaving through enemies? Cleaving through enemies who can't move and take bonus damage while doing it. The core effects are 30% base slow, which caps at 75%, a 50% base melee vulnerability bonus. This ability is affected by line of sight though, and it's very important. It's based on your camera, not Valkyr's hips. Aim that damn camera right. Now let's talk about the optional spice, the Prolonged Paralysis Augment. If you do want enemies flung into your lap like Warframe's answer to a strip club, go ahead and slot in Prolonged Paralysis in place of Eternal War. Stunned enemies equal free finishers, though let's be real, we're not wasting time with that augment. We're too cracked for cinematic executions. It doubles stun duration by 200% and ragdolls enemies towards you like a vacuum made of pain. But for this setup, we don't give a shit about that. We're flying through maps like a railjack with nothing to lose and no time to cuddle. So you guessed it, it's geeky Arabic math time, just like before. 254% ability strength and divided by 2, this gives us 127. So 75% max slow cap with 127% melee vulnerability bonus. That means you're more than doubling the incoming damage to anything caught in your line of hate. Perfect for lining up massive kills, dropping armorless targets, and yeeting your way through even the toughest sentient sympathy seekers. TLDR locks down enemies like a bad relationship, makes your melee hits feel like divine punishment. It can be used for grouping, but you're too busy speed running trauma. And truth be told, we don't need the augment, unless you're into crowd kink. Ability 4, Hysteria. The only thing crazier than her damage is your ex who still texts you, and both will drain your life. One just does it with claws. Valkyr enters a state of uncontrollable rage, slashing everything to pieces while laughing in lifesteal. When Hysteria is active, you're immune to all status effects. Fire? Nope. Knockdown? Nah. Magnetic proc? Fuck off. Warcry's armor bonus is tripled. That's right, stack synergy like bacon on a double cheeseburger made of fucking destruction. Lifesteal on every hit, and a 254% power strength, that's 254 health per hit. Constant, relentless healing like some kind of Hellcat Jesus. You also get access to Hysterical Assault, our Yeet a Bitch augment. Leap up to 50 meters to gut enemies like a screaming puma in 0G. Get a plus 50% parkour and sprint speed for 5 seconds. Duration modified, turning Valkyr into a blur of Berserker crack energy. Let's get into the Berserker Math mode, Engage. Base stats are 250 base damage, 2x base crit multiplier, 50% base crit chance with a 10% base status chance. Yawn. But we don't live in base bitchville. We're stacking mods and shards like we're building a dojo out of fucking war. So what's our applied stat breakdown? Our base damage is 250 times 100% base plus 300% passive plus 165 prime pressure point plus 80% times 12 condition overload stacks, which gives us 3,962.5 damage. Our power strength is 254%, which is a direct multiplier to damage and lifesteal. So what are our critical stats? Our critical multiplier is 2 times 100% base plus 85% for Amalgam Organ Shatter plus 120% for Galvanized Steel plus 375% for the Archon Shards, equaling a 13.6 critical multiplier. Our light critical chance is 50% plus 100% base plus 110% Galvanized Steel plus 300% Hotshot plus 440% Blood Rush. Our heavy critical chance is 50% times 100% base, plus 220% heavy galvanized steel, plus 300% hotshot, plus 440% blood rush. So our average final crit multiplier is 1 plus 475% times 13.6x minus 1, giving us 60.85x light average final critical multiplier. Our stance multipliers are 300% for the light attack and 500% for the heavy attack. Our elemental multiplier is 100% base plus 1.5 against Grineer times 165% for Fever Strike plus 60% for Focus Energy, giving us a 437.5% elemental multiplier. Our faction multiplier is 100% base plus 55% faction mod plus 76.2% roar, equaling 2.31x faction multiplier. Paralysis is 50% times 254% power strength, giving us a 2.27x paralysis multiplier. We get a viral multiplier at 2 plus 0.25 times 10 viral stacks minus 1, giving us a 4.25x viral multiplier. We get a 12x combo multiplier. Now, because we actually went extremely in depth on how we achieve such absolute damage, we're just going to throw this on the screen for a few seconds and let you read through it, because fuck saying all of this. It's 7 a.m. and I'm tired from killing everything in existence. So our final damage calculations are as such. Light attack is 3,962.5 times 2.54 times 60.85 times 3 times 4.375 times 2.31 times 2.27 times 4.25, equaling 179,293,895.62 damage. That's 179 million Dreamers for just one swipe of her claws. Our heavy attack is 3,962.5 times 2.54 times 67.78 times 5 times 4.375 times 2.31 times 2.27 times 4.25 times 12, equaling 3,994,261,378.81. Almost 4 billion damage, enough to put the void itself into therapy. Okay, that's enough of all those nerd numbers. Who honestly gives a shit? There's only one thing we need to say to that. Conan the fucking Barbarian type shit. Zula Rage style. Now, even though we're in the Hysteria section, we're going to merge two of our sections together. Our How to Survive section also lives within Hysteria because, let's be honest, we're only rocking one way to survive. Fucking attack everything. Who gives a shit about shield gating? No rolling guard, no decoy, no cheese, just armor, rage, and the will to rip gods apart. So let's break it down. Our base armor is 1,000. Our base health is 750. Now modding that with Umbral mods, we get that sexy number to 1725. Warcry gives us 127%, and Hysteria gives us a 3x multiplier to Warcry, which gives us 4,810 armor total. So our DR from armor equals 4,810 divided by 4,810 plus 300, equaling 94.13% DR. Adaptation gives us a 90% DR cap. Our effective health multiplier is 1 divided by 1 minus 0.9413 times 1 divided by 1 minus 0.90, equaling 17.03 times 10, equaling 170.3x. So our total EHP is 170.3 times 1725, equaling 293,825 effective fucking health. So what's the TLDR there? Our claws are nukes. Hysteria turns Valkyr into a status immune rage goddess. You regenerate 254 health per hit while doing hundreds of millions, if not billions of damage. You don't survive enemies. You make sure they don't exist long enough to touch you. So yeah, fuck all those bitch-ass Grineer butchers up like your life depends on it. Because it does. You still with me, Dreamers? Good, because we're not done yet. Playstyle Rotation. 3 buttons, 1 massacre. Look, Dreamer, this ain't calculus. This is primal, savage, streamlined violence. No juggling cooldowns, no sweaty try-hard min-max rotations, just the gospel according to Valkyr. Roar. Announce to the galaxy you're about to break something beautiful. Warcry. Buff your murder mittens and send your enemy's spines into space. Hysteria. Enter kill mode and make the floor sticky with regret.
Oh, well then what, Mr. Demon Prince?
Kill fucking everything.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Keep in mind that every melee kill keeps Warcry alive longer than most Warframe relationships, unless you're with Eleanor. Goth mommy for the win. Recast Roar when it wears off to keep the damage rolling. That's it. That's the rotation. 3 buttons and a body count. Simple, savage, sexy. Archon Shards. Insert these rocks and become an interstellar feline calamity. Listen, dreamers, if you ain't bedazzling Valkyr's ribcage with Tauforged Violet Shards, what the actual hell are you doing?
What the hell is even that?
We're not here to be cute. We're here to commit surgical beatdowns that make your enemies rage quit reality. We are full sending 5 Tauforged Violet Archon Shards. That's plus 37.5% melee critical damage each. But wait, there's more. If your max energy is over 500, that crit boost doubles like your blood pressure at family dinner, which means 5 times 75% equaling 375% melee crit damage. That's 375 fucking percent. You're not hitting anymore, you're rearranging their DNA. So jam those purple crystals of destruction deep into our Warframe flesh, break the Geneva Convention 6 times before lunch, and enjoy the ride. Arcanes. One melts everything, the other lets us juice up harder than a pre-workout overdose in a sauna. Arcane Hotshot. We're not here for little orange numbers that make you feel adequate. We're here to paint the HUD red like it owes us child support. This bad boy gives plus 300% critical chance after applying ability heat procs. So we stack heat procs up to 50x, maxing out this arcane, and suddenly those talons aren't scratching, they're coring out rib cages like an apple peeler in hell.
But Demon, how are we stacking heat? Valkyr doesn't have heat on any of her abilities.
Shut the fuck up and guess what, mother bitches? Your best boy, you know who, is the ultimate helper, applying heat like he's getting paid by the flame. Throw in manifold bonds, slap some heat on your weapon, and suddenly we're melting steel beams like a conspiracy theory. Arcane Battery. We told Prime Flow to take a hike.
Yeah, you're welcome, Nicholas.
And replaced it with mass genocide, disguised as an energy solution. Here's how this nasty little number works. Gain +1 energy for every 0.3 armor, up to 1000 max energy. Now with Valkyr's base 1000 armor, we instantly get 525 extra energy. That means we get over 500 energy at spawn, which activates our Tauforged Archon Shard bonus, meaning more damage,
More energy.
More red numbers than your last credit report.
And yeah, this shouldn't work with base stats, but it does, because Valkyr is the absolute fucking cheat code. Arsenal. All you need is rage, claws, and the sudden realization that your other weapons are just emotional support tools. Primaries. Fuck them. Use whatever gets you hard or nostalgic. We slapped on the Tenet Glaxion for cold primer goodness because cold is like an ice-cold breakup text. It freezes, stuns, and ruins everything in its path. Want more sprint speed? Toss Amalgam Serration on your favorite stat stick and enjoy that Usain Bolt build energy. TLDR, primaries are just here for looks and lockdowns, like that one toxic X you only call when the power goes out. Secondaries, Kompressa Prime. This bubbly bastard is the phone party cannon from hell, and she's looking to ruin enemy skincare routines across the Origin system. Innate Viral makes your enemies weaker than my willpower at 3 AM. Mod it with Corrosive to strip them bare like an NSFW4U page. Throw on Cold for critical damage bonuses and hard free CC so strong it'll stop a demolisher in its tracks like a Tesla slamming into a brick wall. Bonus round. Amalgam Barrel Diffusion gives you more dodge speed so you can juke death like a horny ninja with ADHD. This isn't a gun. This is Valkyr's lube launcher. It's here to soften up the meat before the claws come out. Melee. Praedos. All you need to know is movement, speed, bonuses. That's it. That's the whole review. Put it on, go fast, look good doing it, parkour like your Warframe's ass is on fire. Because it probably is. Valkyr's Talons, the main course. Ah yes, the reason we're all here. The OG Cuisine Art claws that chew through armor, shields, bone marrow, and dignity. These things don't just kill, they maul, they violate, and they look damn good while doing it. We're going full melee crescendo to make those heavy attacks pop like your knee joints in your 30s. Spin to win still destroys. Use the Vazarin Focus School to stack the combo. But let's not play around here. Heavy attack like you're angry at life. And because we're emotionally available, we've supplied 2 extra builds you can use for Cascade farming so you can still slot in the Moderai Focus School, the only one that actually does damage. Hey DE, give operators mod loadouts and let us all use the Focus Schools equally please. But yeah, we do this because we love you, you filthy fucking degenerates. You want your red crit dopamine rush and your Void School bonuses too? We got you. Now start slicing, dreamers. These butchers aren't going to tenderize themselves. Seriously, fuck those butchers. Let Valkyr take them out for a date and ghost them with talons to the face. Companion. You know it, we know it, the Origin system knows it. There's only one motherfucking murderer you want at your side when shit hits the fan and the bodies hit the floor. The best fucking boy. Trademarked, copyrighted, tattooed on our hearts. We've modded this bite-sized berserker for pure melee madness, because firearms are for cowards and he wants to rip jugulars with his teeth. Toss in linked fiber, stack that armor so high you could tank a hit from your ex's emotional baggage. Give him the bond mods for status spreading, melee mods, and all the other fun shit, because why not let this fuzzy little fucker melt and mutilate simultaneously? And with Synergized Prospectus, Manifold, Momentous, Contagious, and Vicious Bond, you're ensuring that everything in your path is prime fucked and ready to die. He's loyal. He's deadly. He makes all ability arcanes and mods work. He's basically a status chainsaw with feelings. The best boy is strong. The best boy is good. The best boy will knuckle fuck the origin system like a mechanized STD determined to spread all the legs of every faction in the galaxy. Ancient Tenno Proverb. If you're not running him, you've already made your first mistake. But don't worry, Dreamer. The best boy forgives you. After you're dead. Let's not sugarcoat it, Dreamers. Valkyr is the Warframe equivalent of my therapist quit and now I'm everyone's problem. She doesn't need guns. She doesn't need aim. She doesn't even need a plan. She is the plan. We built her to punch time itself, disembowel reality, and then scream about it in slow motion while the best fucking boy plays drums on corpus rib cages like it's Saturday night in a Mad Max mosh pit. Everything we've done here, from the Talons Shards to the red critting claws to the 800-pound armor-snorting kitty rage engine, is to give you something rare in Warframe. Unfiltered, uninterrupted, absolute carnage. But beneath all that blood and broken steel, there's something more. A symbol. Valkyr isn't just about damage, or speed, or brutal efficiency. She's about freedom. Freedom from fear, from control, from every chain you were told you had to wear. And if you're looking for a place where we celebrate that kind of unhinged beauty, where builds get weird, lore runs deep, and jokes get dangerously out of pocket, jump in and join the Discord. We're building something feral there, something real, and we want you with us, as friends, as family, as a damage-capping, level-capping machine of utter destruction. We will help you get there, and we will have a shit ton of fun on the journey together. So now you know what to do, Dreamers. Sharpen those claws, build her, bleed for her, then laugh as the galaxy burns around you. And with that, I'm the Demon Prince, and I'll see you in the Void, Dreamers.